Welcome to The Business Fighter with Henry Penix. Henry has been the CEO, founder, and consultant to hundreds of companies worldwide. He retired a multimillionaire, financially independent at the age of 35. Henry grew up a preacher's son and was thrown in jail 3 times for various altercations. He knows what it means to come from nothing and have to fight his way to the top. Henry is the business fighter who will teach you strategic skills for winning in business and in life. Don't just spectate, participate. It's time to get in the ring.
Hey guys, Henry Penix, the business fighter. I've got Blake Nubar going to get in the ring today with me, and we're going to talk about launching a digital online business. I know especially during COVID, everybody's looking at what else they can do. Maybe they got laid off from their jobs. They want something supplemental, or you've just been sitting at home more often than not. You've got this great idea and you're wondering, how do I get it online? How can I digitize it? And I wish there was a step-by-step process that somebody could help me with. This is Blake Nubar. We're going to get into his story, learn what made him who he is today, and I hope you guys will find great value. Blake, welcome to the Henry Penix Business Fighter podcast.
Henry, thanks for having me. I am pumped to be here.
Good, cool. Well, we were talking a little bit before about launching an online business, and it seems like a lot of people are doing that these days, but there's sort of a lot of pitfalls and things that you can help people avoid and really make a lot of money, get a lot of freedom for themselves from working at home, doing something online. Before we get into that, and I want you to drop a few of those golden nuggets, let me go back a little bit. Let me go back a few years and ask you, what got you started in this? What kind of turned you on to the whole digital online thing? What are some great things that happened in your life to get you where you are today? And then let's drop some golden nuggets on my listeners.
Yeah, so it's actually back in college, funny enough. But back in college, my business partner and I, we were studying for an exam. And a lot of people, everyone listening has probably been there, where you take a lot of information and you cram it in your brain as much as humanly possible just to get by, just to get like a good grade, right?
Yes.
And my business partner and I were going through this and we're like, dude, this is the worst experience on planet Earth. And everyone goes through this every single test and exam.
Yep.
So we had this idea and we decided what would happen if we turned all of this text information that's in like a study guide and we transformed it into like visual information, like mnemonic devices, video, animations. We're just taking the same information and changing the format. So we decided to do exactly that. We took study guides, we changed the information, we built a WordPress site for it was the ugliest site on planet Earth. And we put a price tag for $5, right? Because we were in college, we were broke as hell, right? We just had
needed beer money or whatever.
So we're sitting there and we're like, okay, well now we have this product and we don't really know what it's gonna do. How do we go market it? Because I didn't really know much about marketing. None of us did at the time. So we bought this gorilla suit, and I don't know why, but we bought an entire gorilla suit. I got in this gorilla suit. We found one of the classes at my university that holds like 3,000 students.
Right.
And he grabs a boombox, sunglasses, and a backwards hat, and we just bombard this class. I'm in a gorilla suit. He's in the boombox, and we're playing like 1990s music. It's just like, right? And I'm just dancing like an idiot. And I have these signs in my hand that say like, hey, do you want an A on your next exam? And we do this entire stunt. We drop the signs. We run out of the classroom. The professor was not that happy with us. And we just were like, we did it. Let's see what happens. So being college kids, we went to the bar. We started drinking alcohol. And the next thing completely changed everything. And my phone went off and I opened my phone and we had our first sale for $5. We sold one of these visual guides and I went crazy, right? I went nuts.
Oh yeah.
Right? This gorilla stunt actually worked. And a few minutes later, more sales came in. And that entire night we generated $800 in sales. And the entire semester we generated $5,000 in sales as college students.
Oh my God, from a $5 sale.
$5 thing, walking across campus, grabbing a coffee, sale, going to the football games, making sales, sitting in class, making sales.
Sleeping, making sales.
Making sales. And it was at that moment I realized that you no longer have to trade time for money. You can build something one time and it can generate an income for you as a perpetuity, as long as it's up and running and as long as it's relevant. And that was our first introduction to not only an online business, but more importantly, a digital products business. And that's kind of where it started.
Man, that is a crazy. So, my mind is going nuts now with questions. You first had to put away all inhibitions of putting on a gorilla suit and walking in front of a class of 3,000 people. Like, so many people, I think, are afraid to get out and be different and to kind of push that boundary. And they go, well, what will my friends think? And blah, 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 blah. But your friends aren't writing you a check. Your friends aren't the ones that are going to help give you that extra $10 or $100 or $1,000 when you need it. That's up to you. What pushed you to do that? Let me start there. Like, are you a naturally extrovert, or what pushed you to do that?
Yeah, at the time, I would say I was more extrovert, but that wasn't the reason. I was scared. I was petrified. Oh, yeah. No. If anyone that everyone's nervous. When I used to be an athlete, and no matter how many times I walked on the basketball court, right before the jump ball, I was nervous every single time.
Yep,
right.
Yep.
And then when you do it, the nerves leave. So at the time, we drank a little before we did it to kind of calm the
little
nerves.
Liquid courage.
Yeah, a little liquid courage. But anyone that's listening, right? Being scared and being in fear of doing something unknown for the very first time is a natural thing. I would actually say the opposite of that is when you should be a little scared.
Unnatural.
When you're completely confident and you have this overly optimistic mentality all the time and you're kind of uninformed a little bit, that's when you should be a little, you should be nervous of that. It's when you are a little scared and when something does feel a little uncomfortable, just understand that is normal. That means that you are growing as a person, right? Because like you're saying, Henry, what are our friends going to think? What are our family? What are they going to think? Right? Because you're growing up and people put you in this box. You're put in this, you have this frame and you have this label on you. Like Blake, he's the hypothetical. He's the B student at so-and-so university. And when you break that label, it confuses a lot of people. So when he got in a backwards hat and sunglasses and he had a kind of a ripped shirt, like a frat boy, right. We were both really nervous, but we decided, you know what, we don't care what anyone thinks because it's moments of this that can create greatness. And the worst thing that was going to happen was we wake up the next day. It's like, we're not in the Matrix anymore. Everything's normal. So,
right.
So yeah, it was scary.
Wow.
We drank a little bit, but you got to get over that fear if you want to really have some shift in your life.
Yeah. So you didn't let fear paralyze you. You let fear motivate you. And then it started to make history. So you go from college, I assume you started thinking about what other offerings could I put online? And if I'm doing it and it's working for me, maybe I can create a system. Give me that kind of segue into where you were then and how that got you to where you are now.
Yeah, great question, actually. A lot of people don't know this. So I kind of lost the way after college, right? Went to go work the 9 to 5. Was working for a fitness company, and long story short, went through a very kind of similar experience, but that's when I found funnels. That's when I was introduced by Russell Brunson and ClickFunnels to the world of funnels. I had no idea what a funnel was. Right. People might be listening right now not knowing what a funnel is. I didn't know what it was, but I realized that that's what you need to sell things online is you need some type of sales process. So it was the moment when I was introduced a few years later after I graduated, I was introduced to funnels. We put the two worlds together, and I took funnels and I took digital products and I married them. And that's when I started to explode things on a whole new level. Cause I said, you know what better business than an online business? That's amazing. What better business than an online business that sells digital products? That sounds even better. What better way to sell them than using a sales funnel? And when I kind of put those worlds together, I just started to create different types of offers that would help people, everyday people like me, when I was first getting started. How can I find a way to generate an income online when I really don't know anything about the internet and I want to learn? And that's what I've been doing ever since.
Wow. Tell me your biggest, other than the gorilla suit and the $5 sale, tell me your biggest surprise that you thought you were going to make 100 and you made 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000. Give me that. What just kind of blew you away?
Yeah. So one of our recent offers we made, and I always think that everything we're going to launch is just going to bomb. Yeah, no one wants it. No one wants this. It's going to suck.
Right.
And I think that's normal, right? We're our worst critics. So we were working on this offer. We were working on an offer back in January, actually. And my business partner and I were like, yeah, what do you think? What do you think it's going to do? And we're like, super pessimistic just because we're protecting our confidence, right? We're kind of guarding our confidence.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, if we establish that this is going to kind of suck a little bit, like if it does, then we're kind of ready for it. So we were like, if we do, I don't know, I think we said if we did like 50 sales, it would be like even good. I think if it did 25 sales, it was a disaster. If it did 100 sales, we're like jumping off the building because we're so excited. When we were done with that offer, it ended up doing 450 sales
my gosh.
in like a weekend, and we were like in
Oh my
disbelief.
gosh.
Yeah, it was mind blowing, and like we couldn't believe it. I still can't believe it to this day, but it happened. And it was one of those things where it's like, you just don't know, you never know what to expect when it comes to selling things online.
Well, it's kind of like posting. Like if you put, and I know you've got a great Facebook group. By the way, guys, if you want to hear more of Blake Nubar, go to his Facebook page, and that will lead you into some other groups and things like that. So make sure you do that. What I was going to say was that's like posting, you know, like I've done posts before and I've gotten, you know, a couple hundred views, and maybe it's a time of day, maybe it's before a weekend, maybe it, like there's all these variables on the outside that we're not even thinking about. Like we want to think we know kind of what trend lines are, and sometimes we do, but sometimes I've put, you know, Facebook posts up there and I'll get like thousands and I can't figure it out. It's like, was it the time? No. Was it like what I said? Maybe. I don't know. Was it my background? Like you never know, and you're never gonna know unless you keep on trying.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you start out, so your main thing is you want to get people online, you want to help them with their digital product. Those are the first two biggest things. And then you've got a way to help them sell it. And all those three need to work together.
Correct. Yeah. So like, it's really hard because when you're first starting out, first off, you're brand new, right? No one's born an expert. No one's born it. Like, it's just, that's not how it is. Everyone becomes better at something. Like when LeBron James stepped onto a basketball court, he might've had like this innate ability to be good, but he wasn't great. Like you have to practice at your craft every single day, you know? And yep. I think there might be this misconception that like, oh, so-and-so's like crushing it. He's making a lot of money. Well, he went through a ringer to be able to do that. So I just want to make sure when people are getting started online for the first time that they're guided in the easiest, fastest, most beginner-friendly way to generate income using the internet. I think there's a lot of skepticism out there when it comes to the internet. I think there's a lot of doubt of what's really possible. And my job and our job and what we do here is we want to get you to believe, because the second we get you to believe, the same way we believed when we made our first $5 sale, right? It almost like it opens up new veins in your brain that you didn't think were like there or possible. And you start looking at things differently, and you start going a mile a minute, and you start thinking like, what else is possible? What else can I do? So as we design our programs and as we're building things, I just want to make sure that, hey, if you're brand new and you want to leave the 9 to 5, or maybe you don't even want to leave the 9 to 5, maybe you're just like, what can I try that's on the internet? Our job is to teach you in a way that makes it really easy so that you become better and better and better. And then, yeah, eventually we want you to be crushing it on the internet the same way that we think a lot of people are right now.
And how do you start to identify? Let's drop, and you've dropped a lot of gold nuggets already, but let's drop a couple more here. How do you start to identify which digital product is best to even offer? Because you said you had something that you didn't think it would do nearly what it did, and you've probably had things that you thought maybe would do better that sucked. We all have. Yeah. So what's sort of a criteria or a guideline that you kind of use to say, you know what, this digital product, if it's got this quality, and this quality, it's probably going to do okay?
Yeah. So great question. So when it comes to a digital product, right? Like first and foremost, one of the processes that you have to go through is you have to truly understand who is your customer and what's the problem that they have. And I think a lot of people skip that step because ultimately it's probably kind of boring when you're starting out. You just want to, like when I started out, I wanted to work on the funnel, right? I was like, oh, I'm building a funnel and I'm doing this cool, right? But that doesn't put money in your pocket per se. You have to really understand the customer. So when it comes to like, what's the correct digital product to offer someone or to teach someone how to do, you have to really show people, hey, what's the market out there and what's something that they need? And when you can find something that they constantly need, whether it's most likely a problem that they're experiencing or some new opportunity that you can offer them that they've never experienced before, then there's this product market match, and you usually have the recipe for something that could be massively successful. Okay. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that we focus on is we're sitting here and we're like, okay, let me give you an example because that might kind of be fuzzy,
Yeah.
is, okay, what does every business online need, right? Every business needs leads. They all need leads. Every single business online or offline needs leads. So how can we create a digital product to offer people to generate leads? So we found a very unique strategy on how we can do that. We sell it online. Any type of business that exists on the internet can implement this specific type of strategy, and they will start generating leads almost overnight, which is kind of crazy. And that was like one digital product we created, we started offering to the market, and it just exploded. Because when you're truly offering something, and you know this, Henry, when you're offering something that someone needs and someone can use on a daily basis, I mean, the product typically can sell itself. You just have to go introduce it and provide the value of it. And once you do that effectively, right, you can now have a digital product business. And one of the best things about digital product business is that you're not doing something over and over and over again. Like I don't want to go launch like a ice cream shop where I'm constantly have to be there and there's overhead and there's all this stuff and I have to do it every day. I want to be able to know that I can build something one time, prove that it works. And then when you prove that it works, it's like a set it and forget it. You just have to manage it after that, and it keeps generating income. So
I'm gonna create the maps that show where an ice cream place is in every city, and then people buy that. You know,
there you go. They can buy the software or the research stuff, and then you're just constantly getting paid. So that's just our cup of tea. That's what we enjoy doing. We found out that the market really enjoys that as well, because it's not this crazy overhead. There's not this fulfillment model. Physical products is a different animal. There's just so many pros to doing digital products, but ultimately to create the right one, it's just like a physical product or any other type of product or service. You just have to make sure that you're solving a problem that your customer is experiencing.
I've got a comment and a last question, and then we're going to wrap this up. Guys, remember, if you want to get more of what Blake is offering today, go to Blake Nubar. For you guys that are listening and not watching, that's BlakeNubar. Blake Nubar. He's got BlakeNubar.com. He's got Blake Nubar on the Facebook group. He puts really good information on Facebook, so try to get there. That was my comment. My question is this. Explain that record over there that looks like it's half melted. It looks like a gold record or something. I don't know what that is.
Interesting story behind that. So that record is given when you generate $1 million online through a single sales funnel.
Okay.
But the difference between that record and everyone else's is we're the only ones that have a record that is completely shattered. Out of every record ever, it's the only one shattered. And the reason that our record is shattered is because when we launched that last product, we built up a very interesting launch campaign where I took a sledgehammer and I shattered that record. And it introduced our new product to the world. So very interesting launch. If anyone ever wants to be entertained, you can be significantly entertained by joining the Facebook group, because you will see why I was crazy enough to legitimately take a sledgehammer to $1 million award record. But it was fun. Yes.
I love that though, man. I love your moxie. I love how you approach things, and I would assume you approach business very much the same way. And if anybody learns more about you, wants to know how to get online with their online business, sell a digital product that'll keep on selling, whether you're working out, brushing your teeth, sleeping at night, that gives you not only the additional finances, but it also gives you the freedom. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? Who wants to spend more time? It'd be so much better if you could spend more time with the people you love and do a few things that a 9-to-5 behind a desk is not going to allow. And I would assume, just one of my last thoughts would be, this is not something that people have to come over to and say, I'm quitting my job, I'm going to do this. This is probably something that you could start to implement. And once those sales started to kind of take over your full-time 9-to-5, now you slowly segue yourself out of the 9-to-5 and let this take over and be your new lifestyle of freedom.
That's exactly right. Like, it just, at the end of the day, be self-aware of who you are. If you want to jump and quit and go all in, that's fine. That's who you are. That's what I did. But at the same time, that's not required. You can totally work your normal job, bring in an income, and moonlight it from 7 to 2 a.m. or whatever, 7 to 1 a.m. Do 3 hours a night. Who cares? Yeah. Work on something else that can potentially provide you with the financial freedom that ultimately we're all looking for, right? Yeah. That's what we're all trying to achieve. It's not the money, it's the freedom. Yeah. And when the income starts becoming greater than your current job or enough for you to live, you can now make the same amount of money you were working at your job, but you can do it all from a laptop, which means you're mobile, which means you can do it from anywhere in the world. And honestly, there is no better epiphany or realization or experience than being able to have that moment where you say, I can take my computer right now and I can go on a boat for 6 months and work, or go anywhere in the world and do the same thing. And that's what ultimately, that's what we want to give people, is that freedom.
This has been so inspiring. I'm so inspired by your story. I love your outlook on life. You seem like a very, very smart individual. I'm going to go look up your Facebook group now and check it out. And man, this has been really good. Guys, go to blakenubar.com, BLAKENUBAR.com, or more than that, go to his Facebook group. He's got a bunch of stuff there. And if you want to get your digital business online, or just create a digital business to go online, know how to sell it, this guy's done it. He's not teaching you or trying to tell you anything he hadn't done successfully himself. So that's the first cue. And take it from there. Go look this guy up, and it's going to change your life. Blake, do you have any last minute thoughts? I've got 30 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. So everyone, thank you. First off, thanks for tuning in. Really a pleasure. You guys are hanging out. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here right now listening to this. If you ever want to do something on the internet, just remember, at the end of the day, whether you have fear, whether it's family or friends scaring you or holding you back, you got to go out on a ledge and just try. Because the worst case scenario, that if you do fail and you do want to give up and you say it's not for you, is you just go back doing what you were doing. But the other side of that could be something completely amazing that can completely change your life. So if you're thinking about trying something for the first time, my advice is just go in and give it a shot.
Absolutely. No fear, even if it costs a gorilla suit. Go buy your gorilla suit and kick its butt. So, all right, man. Hey, nice talking to you. And you guys tune in. If you think this podcast will help somebody, go share it with 10 of your friends right now. Don't wait. Go share it, and you'll be better for it. We'll see you guys later.
See you guys.